Episode 4, trending down, coming at you guys live. I know I say this every week, but really love the support. Again, blown away by it all. But, the markets are pumping, and I'm not saying it's because of us, but I am low-key saying it's because of us. You got Ethersole here and Bender, and again, we're coming at you guys with a guest this week, and he's fucking absolute Chad. So I'll let Bender give the introductions here.
Absolute Chad. Today, when I first started Twitter, I hung out virtually with this guy all the time. DMs were the most fun part about the ecosystem for me. And he created the OOGA tribe, one of the early kings of Bored Apes that then did a victory lap by selling the top and just moved on at the perfect timing. It is Function.
Yo.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. Been waiting to talk to you for the last few months. Everything got busy, and it's been we got busy, then we got bored.
Nice.
So first thing I want to ask, and I'm sure this is on Ethersole's mind too, is what happened with RadioShack? All I know is one day I'm getting ratioed by RadioShack with a dick joke. And my girlfriend saw it and she was like, what the fuck happened? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea if I got an idea of who it might be.
Yeah, we were on Twitter Spaces one day. And I think RadioShack just followed me because I did that Ty Lopez interview a while ago. Mm-hmm. And they jump in our spaces, and it's like the whole Solana crew, like Michael Scott's in there. I think he was hosting it, and all the memers were in there. And we invite RadioShack up, and they start talking shit. Like, not even kidding. They start talking shit. They're like, Solana's going to zero, this and this and this. And we're just like, what the fuck is RadioShack doing? You're wildin'. And someone says, RadioShack, your engagement is like the absolute worst trash I've ever seen. You've got 190,000 followers and you get 17 likes. And so
brutal.
Yeah, of course, like fucking get ratioed. But me being myself, I immediately jumped out, was like, yo, RadioShack, I challenge you to give me your account for a few days and I'll blow it the fuck up. And they had like 190,000 followers at the time, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, sure, let's do it. So they gave me the account and started jamming with their Twitter for like, I think I ran it for 3 days, maybe 2 days. I got bored after 2 or 3 days. And I was mostly targeting the crypto community and NFTs and shit like that and making memes. And I think it bumped them 5,000 or 6,000 followers in 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I was a target. That's what I just heard.
What's that?
I was a target when I responded to that tweet.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was like, as soon as I get this account, I'm going at Bender. I'm going at Red Guy. I'm going at like Threador, all those guys. So yeah, essentially rocked it for 2 to 3 days. Got bored, and they kept DMing me, and they're like, "Dude, you're blowing, like, our account's blown up. It's like, we need you. Like, we need you. How much money do you want?" Is what they kept saying to me.
No shit. Wow.
And realistically, like, there's not a dollar value that would like make me waste my fucking time doing that all day, every day.
Right.
It was fun and enjoyable for a little bit, but I guess what I'm getting at is like my attention is more valuable in other places than on RadioShack's Twitter. Although it's like fun to do, it was a fun meme. I told him no, and then I hit him back, and I was like, I have the fucking perfect person for you, though. And my boy Sam has been a homie for a long time, and he's like kind of like an in real life shit poster. Like, he'll just shit post you in real life to your face. And so I hit him up and was like, you want to run RadioShack's account? He's like, let's go, bitches. I'm down. And that dude, he went off. Yeah, he did all the squirter tweets and all that good shit. And
I feel like that made it to Instagram, like the crossover. That's when you know you hit a banger.
Oh, it was so viral. I was so impressed because throughout like all my time on social media, like I've had a lot of campaigns go viral, and I've never had anything go that viral ever. Like it was number 1 trending on Twitter in the United States, and it was number 5 in the entire world for like the day he sent that squirter tweet. Yeah. Like he was like, my boy Sam got fucking RadioShack into every subculture you could possibly imagine, from like 4chan meme culture all the way to like no jumper, deep hip hop culture. Like was posting about RadioShack and like asking why RadioShack was dunking on Lil Pump's mom, you know, like just
fucking amazing,
just ridiculous shit. But long story short, he got fired from RadioShack for saying some obscene shit. Best way to
on Twitter.
Out. Yeah. The CEO.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, I won't go super deep into it, but yeah, they weren't super fucking happy with him, even though he bumped them. They were and they weren't happy with him, right? They're like super stoked. He's like bumping their followers, and then at the same time, very like conflicted that he's talking about marrying squirters on Twitter.
I mean,
yeah, that was the tweet I saw everywhere.
Yeah, that was definitely the biggest one.
So
but
when they jumped in Spaces, was that Ty Lopez or was that some rando running their account at the time?
It's just some rando. Ty's like,
okay.
From my understanding, Ty may have like purchased it, but he doesn't do fucking shit for it. From my understanding,
right, okay.
Like he's like. Okay. He ain't in Twitter Spaces or doing like he ain't out there really hustling RadioShack. He's like, I bought the brand, hired a team, and now told. I think he just told the team to go figure it out. If that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I'm going through RadioShack's timeline. They have an OnlyFans. I don't know why.
They've gone massively downhill after my friend got fired. They've been like. There's like a very unique, subtle balance of being able to be viral. And you have to be like so unattached from being viral that virality can actually come. And that's what my buddy Sam did. You know, he doesn't think that tweeting about marrying a squirter is going to get him millions and millions of people freaking out. He's just like running through his day, finishing his coffee, has a thought. He's like, squirters and marrying, this is funny. And he tweets it. And then he just keeps going. He's not actively attempting to be viral, which is kind of what you're witnessing now on RadioShack's account is real. Like from my experience with them, like they're just extremely attached to like one idea. And so as soon as Sam sent a squirter tweet and it went viral, like they just clamped around it and attached to this idea that like, oh, if I tweet anything about squirters, it'll go viral. But that's not how it works, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, what's their end game? Like, they want to just be a meme account? Is that and get more followers for a reason, or just to be viral?
They have a crypto exchange.
I was about to say that. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. The swap. So that is like the sole driving factor there then, which is just wild in itself.
I don't think they even really know.
Right.
I love that.
Like from my experience with them, I just don't think they even have an answer to that question. So I could speak a lot more on it. I don't want to bash RadioShack too hard or their team, but
RadioShack's one of those stores that I'm just always impressed with because it's been 20 years and I'm still just kind of like, how are you in business still?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think their business is actually over 100 years old. I'm pretty sure it was established in the early 1900s. Like legally established in the early 1900s, yeah.
Dude, good for them.
He was like, all right, is this their GameStop moment? Like, you know, they kind of get this cult following, get some virality going. But are they even public right now? I don't think they are.
No, they went back to being private, I believe. After Ty Lopez bought them.
Dude, that's a miss.
Did you spot on 101 years for RadioShack?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
OGs in the game.
Speaking of GameStop, don't they have a like an NFT platform they're pushing out?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Do they? I haven't heard about that.
I think in the first 12 hours they did like 1K ETH volume.
Yeah, I saw 1.2 2 million in the first 24, and they were comparing it to OpenSea, and the internet was saying it was a success. If they can keep that kind of volume, they become a competitor to OpenSea.
Yeah.
I saw LimeWire's making an NFT market.
Yeah.
But
no way.
I didn't see
LimeWire.
I will buy into that.
I think Soulja Boy was doing some marketing for LimeWire.
I'm pretty sure Soulja Boy is the main influencer or backer or something behind it.
Dude knows how to market. I will say that.
He definitely knows how to get people's attention for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I have to buy the LimeWire stuff just because I ruined like at least 2 family computers with it. Like I was the perfect age to destroy our family's computer with LimeWire because I thought downloading like music videos was super cool.
Dude, you and I in the same boat, bro. I was downloading all the fucking Lil Wayne mixtapes off of LimeWire.
Absolutely.
You know, you download the wrong one, and then like all of a sudden your computer is just fucked.
That's what got me. The unreleased mixtape. You're like, ooh, this is a good one.
Yep.
A lot of downloads, a lot of cedars.
Yeah, I downloaded a bunch of shit off of Napster first year of college, and one of the albums was a bunch of ripped music, and like Universal Music Group contacted my college, tracked my IP address, and like sent me like a whole like cease and desist, like you must delete all of these albums off the internet or off of your computer. These are stolen, pirated. It's like, those were the days, man.
That's so funny you say that because I remember having the homies be like, yo, LimeWire this. And everyone was scared about that. Knock on the door, that letter in the mail. And like you didn't know if it was truly real, but you kind of like had to assume it was. That's hilarious.
Totally. You're kind of young, or I was kind of young too, you know? So
oh yeah.
You don't really have experience in like understanding that like if I looked at it now and someone sent me an email for pirating something, like realistically I'd look at it and be like, okay, whatever. You know, like not a big deal.
Right. Right.
Universal sending me a cease and desist, I'll just email them back and say I deleted it, you know, or whatever. Like it's over. But like when you're 18, 19 and have no experience with like the world at all, it's like everything is like over, you know. Right. You're like, oh my god,
I'm going to jail. Like,
yeah, exactly. And
I had a similar thing happen, but it was way more embarrassing. My buddy had come over to my house when we were like in high school, like early high school, and he was torrenting porn, and my IPS picked it up and sent my dad an email to like, as he's the internet account holder, and it like named like the porn video, and it was like like backdoor sluts or something, and he walked me and he was like, you want to explain this? And I was like, oh no. I was like, I actually can't, and you won't believe me, but I can't explain this.
Damn.
I looked at the time of it in the day, and I was like, I know exactly who this was. Let me call this guy up real quick.
Damn.
I got the perk here.
Your buddy's dad probably got the same thing happened to him, and so he just went to your house.
Little do I know it was malicious the entire time. Yeah. Hey bro, let me come over. I gotta finish a download real quick. You got good internet.
Your homie's out here just like causing divorces all over in between his friend group.
Yeah. Be amazing.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Dude, so a little background, like you've been in the game a long time, and I feel like there's a few who have mastered the crossover of coins and NFTs. I feel like that was like kind of seamless for you though, because you blew up back in the 2017 era in the coin game, and then now here we are in NFTs, and you're kind of running the game there. If I mean, all intents and purposes.
Wow, I appreciate that, man. Yeah. NFTs just seemed like a very simple replication of what was happening in the coin market for me. Mm-hmm. But actually easier for me to navigate in the coin market because I'd navigated like the collectibles realm outside of like the digital world for a while.
Got it.
Like I traded Pokemon, like got a bunch of like Tiger Woods cards and like just random shit that I like would collect. So I understand, or at least had a base understanding of how attached people can get to collectibles and how those markets move. But I will say that I never expected the level of attachment that we've seen with NFTs and how people get so deeply attached to them as actually their identity, which was like kind of the first thing that I like really noticed coming into the NFT game, if that makes sense.
No, it totally does. It's crazy. I think when you compare like the supply of like most of these have a 10K supply, and then that level of like commitment to it, it's just been able to make things explode. Like, what was your first NFT purchase?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I think my first NFT purchases might have been Solana NFTs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's OG.
I was one of the first 25 to 50 people buying Solana NFTs.
Was it those what were they called? Like the little like
the chimps?
Yeah, was it the Soul Apes, I think it was?
Yeah, the I know which ones you're talking about. Yes, those might have been first, or it might have been Solana Monkey Business Gen 1 and Fract.
Monkey Business.
Because I remember Gen 1 Monkey Business was so OG that they didn't have contracts back then.
Yep.
And so you had to send USDC to some address that they sent in a Discord and pray that they sent you a monkey back.
Shut the fuck up.
That's how it worked. And I sent $800 for 2 sets, so eight NFTs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably my first NFT purchase on Solana. Either that or Fract, because Fract was like, Solana was $20 and Fract came out and they were the first ones to actually have a button where you could mint shit and click a button to mint. And I remember pressing that button and being like, wow, this is a very different experience from Ethereum. Mm-hmm. Because I would just like mint shit really quickly, like click. Actually, backtrack. Definitely not Solana NFTs, because I was minting shit. I was minting hash masks the year before at the end of that year.
Dude,
so I was fucking with a bunch of ETH shit in between then. So it definitely wasn't Solana first, now that I remember.
I feel like Monkey Business even had like some crazy bids from SBF, like back in the day. He was buying like $100,000 Monkey Business.
Oh yeah, dude. Some of those Monkey Business have gone for over 7 figures in the last bull run last October. Yeah, those are great. They were flying. I remember some guy bought one for I think like 2 million or something last bull run.
Jeez.
Or 1.5 or something. But
I mean, someone check on that fool right now, because I don't know how he's doing.
I mean, the dude that bought or the dude that sold?
Dude that sold is chilling, as long as he didn't go all in more NFTs, of course.
Right.
You know he did.
Oh, you know he did.
Absolutely he did.
No, that's crazy. So then you were, because I know myself, I bought Hashmass, and then I think I bought some Meebits, but then I kind of wrote it off and I was like, all right, I don't know if I'm into this whole thing. And that was, of course, like right when the Bored Ape mint happened, right after that, I think.
Totally.
And yeah, so I missed that, but you got in on that.
No, I wasn't in the mint for apes. Okay. My buddy Frankie Nines, who runs Subducks, was the only person who I knew talking about Bored Apes from the very beginning. He's the founder of Subducks. He was tweeting. Mm-hmm. He's my boy from 2018, 19 or whatever. And he was tweeting about Bored Apes when they were minting, like, you guys need to mint these. And I think at the time I just wasn't really interested. Like, I was more deep in Solana.
Yep.
I was actually working in the ecosystem. Like, I had a job. So like every day I was like waking up focused on my job at that time, making sure I get my tasks and shit done. And it wasn't until Bored Apes for about 5 or 10 ETH that I found them.
Okay. Yeah. I was right around that 10 ETH mark as well.
Yeah, it was I remember they had a run up and they ran from something, I don't know where, but they ran to about 9.5, 10, and then dumped back to 5. And I bought one when it was on the first run up to 10, paper handed it for like 7,
because I was freaking out. I spent 20 grand on a JPEG on the internet.
Oh yeah.
And then, yeah, essentially just kept got back in at like 5 ETH and was like, let's fucking play this game and let's not be a pussy about it.
That must have been around the Bored Ape Kennel Club drop.
It was after.
Right after then.
After, because I think the run up to 10 might have been influenced by the dogs being airdropped, now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I think it was, because I got in around that same time too.
Yeah.
At the tail end of that.
Yeah, I missed the dog airdrop and started buying right at about, I think, 5 or 6 ETH. I bought my second one after I had paper handed my first one. And literally 20 minutes after I bought, they just started mooning and went right back to 8 or 10 ETH.
That seems pretty typical for you, though.
Sometimes, yeah.
I remember the pivotal Mutant Ape tweet in December. I was watching those things bleed down to like mid threes, and then you tweeted, you're like, these are way too cheap, and just started buying them, and I was like, oh, fuck me. I was not prepared for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was honestly just kind of high sitting on my couch looking at them and was like, these could run.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just started buying them.
I think everyone thought that, but everyone was afraid to move. Because I was watching them. I think we all probably were for a month.
Okay.
Just thinking like they're down almost to mint price. Like these will move again. Just needs one big catalyst, and then turns out you were the catalyst.
Was I though? Or was I just like before the catalyst actually happened?
I think you were the first mover. It inspired everyone else to be like, oh fuck, I can't wait any longer.
Interesting. I have a different perspective. I think I position myself well before the mob decides to make a decision to run in. And yes, clearly, like, my account's large. It has some sort of like impact or influence on that mob movement. But I don't think it has as much influence as everybody like tends to think and tends to believe.
Right. I want to talk about that too. I've been pissed about this all week.
Oh God, here we go.
Wait, let's what you've been pissed about.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Exactly what you're saying, where people really think that just because you have a big Instagram account that you can like move numbers in mass, but like a single tweet or like 10 tweets from one person is not going to like influence $10 million of movement or something like that.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree.
I mean, especially when it comes to mutants, like, let's be honest, like the mania there, like they blew up, you know, they went from what, 2 ETH up to 50 or at some point, like
they hit 33 or something like that.
Right. I mean, that type of movement is a ton of capital. So I don't think you can attribute that to any one person at all.
Right. And that's kind of where like my gears are grinding lately with, I think crypto Twitter at large for the last like 4 months, or people just assuming that there's like this secret cabal of influencers that have like a tiny group chat. And they're like, hey, everyone buy like, fuck, I don't know, some coin today. We'll pump it tomorrow and make like $40 million.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it happens with like microcap, like just launched on Dex Tools shit. But like, man, that is slowly getting to me, because it's like, you can't be that dumb to actually believe that.
I mean, I think what you're really touching at is like a larger issue, or a deeper issue, I should say, which is people's inability to take responsibility for their actions and their choices.
Bingo.
And as soon as you get to this, like, as soon as someone gets to a place where they're blaming an influencer for X, Y, or Z, they've essentially like negated all of their personal responsibility and put it onto something outside of themselves, whether it be a person, whether it be Three Arrows Capital as a group, whether it be an entire market as a whole. Like, as soon as you divert that responsibility to anything external from yourself, even if there like might be a little responsibility in things external from yourself, you've lost. You've lost the game.
Yep.
You will be poor. You will not enjoy your experience, and you will like always find yourself struggling with it, because the greatest thing that I've done in being early on apes, early on mutants, early on all of these things is every time I have taken personal responsibility for it. Which is why you see me at the front of the fucking pack most of the time. Is not because I'm lucky, and it's not because I'm got some fucking crystal ball. It's because I have the balls to say, here's an amount of money that I'm willing to put at this, and I'm willing to take full responsibility, whether it goes all the way to a 20x or all the way to a fucking zero. And so I have the fucking balls to put my dick on the table and say that left and right every single fucking time. And most people who are following me or who are a little bit later and who want to like put me on a pedestal are only putting me on a pedestal for the fact that I have the ability to take personal responsibility for my decision making and have large take large risks in those decisions.
Amen.
That's well said.
And I think it goes back to like the asymmetrical upside, right? When you're entering, you're willing to go to zero, and that's on you. But also you see this potential of like, yeah, but I'm going to get this 100x upside. A lot of these people who are listening to, talking heads on Twitter or whatever it be are aping blind. First off, not doing their own research, which number one, biggest mistake. But then also it's like, if you're going to have some sort of originality, like, and your own thesis on why something might go up, maybe don't ape when it's up a 50x already. The asymmetric upside is kind of gone.
Totally. Yeah, no, and that's all part of my pre-analysis as well, is like, how much can it go up?
Right.
First, how much can it go down? Like there's all these different factors to like potentially analyze and look at before buying an NFT project. But the truth of the matter is, like, most people just don't have like the conviction or the balls to take like personal responsibility and make that move before somebody else tells them to make that move. And so they probably don't even know it. They're probably not even like consciously aware of it. But if they see someone on Twitter talking about X, Y, or Z, like, they probably just get like, oh, well, he thinks he like Function knows way more than I do. I might as well buy some with him. Like, no, I have the same information that everybody has. I'm on the same playing field. I'm on the same ground. Like, the only advantage that I might have, which is only based off of like the fact that like life has set me up this way through the ways that I have like interacted with reality, is like maybe I just have a little bit more capital than some like normal people, and I can buy a little bit of a bigger bag. But that comes with time anyway. It wasn't always like that for me. So
yeah, and they all multiply the same. Like a 10% gain for you is 10% gain for me, for anybody else.
Exactly.
It's wild, man. I've been thinking about this like the last week straight. I think since the Saudis NFT minted and people like got it Farouk's throat again. And then Zach XBT came out in one of the tweets and was like, I don't understand why this is happening because I haven't seen him like push these at all. And that's when I started thinking about it, because you don't see Zach come to people's defenses very often.
Right.
But last summer, like there was a time like early last summer when shit would go down on the timeline and no one knew what was happening. Like when Gravel minted or the Heavens computer, like everyone's tweeting about the same thing and buying the same thing and then in turn selling the same thing, and no one cared about it. So it kind of has taken the fun out of Twitter, because you can't openly talk about things without kind of setting yourself up for criticism, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the fun stops when things go down, right? And it's like, okay, hey, thanks for giving me the alpha. You had an amazing call, right? Maybe they follow a couple of years, and then they hold on to things that went down, and they're like, they come for you, right? But what do they expect? Do they want you to then say, hey, by the way, not only buy this, but then sell at this price too, and let me walk you through, every part of it?
Yeah, it's actually something unique I've observed in the last 2 bear markets. It's the start of this one and the last one. As price goes down, people seem to like clamp up more and like become more and more frustrated about things that don't matter and that are extremely petty, that they would have never cared about when they we're in a bull market. And it's almost a fucking, like, it's almost like an extreme version of cancel culture that arises when people lose the ability to like tap into their emotions and like connect with themselves, right? Like, I think most people are like operating in the world where like at least most people talking shit on Twitter are like operating in this world where there's like, they're just like in a cancel culture mentality, and they're actually like, I'm not sure if they're aware of it or not, but they let themselves get to a point where they look for things that are actually bad in the world.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot on Twitter lately.
And that's actually the place where I choose to usually step away and like get back into my own energy and navigate my own field, because like, you can't help a person, and you can't even really communicate with a person who sees like everything is bad. Because then you're just constantly in a power struggle with them about like what's right or what's wrong. And most of these people just get stuck in a black and white mentality where they'll label one set of the culture as wrong and one set of the culture is right. And if enough people join on the wrong side, then everybody then essentially the whole group narrative just becomes that. It's just like, that's just what it is. And so, yeah, it's like just an interesting phenomenon that like, if you do choose to like navigate in the realm and in the space, like during this time, like it's something that like you should probably try to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You almost have to like protect yourself from it, because it seems like you said, negative engagement is the like what a lot of people look for, and that's what kind of does well on Twitter right now. Because people are, I don't think anyone's having a great time right now. Maybe very few are, but it almost seems like if you make the wrong call anywhere, people will come for you, or if it can be misconstrued as the wrong call somewhere, they'll come for you, because I think there's a notion of wanting to build in the bear market also means building up their own community and seeing maybe being an influencer, having a large following as like a path to financial freedom.
And I think that's exactly where pride and vanity can collude with the ego and destroy people.
Dude, absolutely.
Because what people don't realize is me as a human, Michael, behind the function account, never like went out and intended to make 120,000 followers. Never went out and tried to like I'm not like actively enforcing myself to be like, I want to be a big influencer. Like, it's just something that kind of naturally happened as we network with new people, as the community grows, as as my unique perspective gets shared through a platform and interpreted by a bunch of different perspectives. It just kind of happens naturally. And so everyone that's making a large effort and intent to try and create influence, which usually involves forcing their opinion onto the world, I'm learning more and more recently that that's a disingenuous way of interacting in the ecosystem, in my opinion.
I think you're right. And it kind of
is more disruptive than it is actually constructive, many times.
I think it also foreshadows like malicious intent to a degree, because if you're forcing it, there's a reason you're forcing it, and it probably isn't a great one. It's either self-serving or like monetarily influenced.
I think that's a very nuanced question, because then you ask like, what is the money for? And they might say, well, the money's for my family and my children, and in that there's good intention.
That's a good point.
So I think there's many different layers, and I think like a lot of people like have very, very good intentions, even if externally it comes out a little skewed or miscued. And I actually don't believe that there's like anybody actively out there that's like maliciously like, I'm going to create this influencer profile and then manipulate all these people and then do all of these promos so that I can have money for myself. Like, I don't think like there are any people without a single shred of good intent in them, is what I'm saying. There are probably people that have been very twisted up and believe that social status will solve their internal insecurities, which it won't. But
I think you're absolutely right
that's
there.
also
I think
like they're part of their journey. Like I wouldn't have been able to navigate this realm this way or learn all of these different skill sets if I hadn't gone through a lot of those patterns and still play a lot of those patterns. So nobody's perfect, and I think that's kind of like the good thing to always remember. Is like, shit, nobody's perfect. Everybody's trying to do their fucking best, and like the best thing we can do is just have compassion for them, even if it's like coming out like it's a fucking miserable shithole.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We're all people.
They're still trying. They're still like a human. They're not. I do not believe that. No, like I believe that every single person has good intent, at least a shred of it somewhere inside.
That's kind of where I try to lie. And when I see someone that's like, I see these tweets like, oh, like so and so like dumped on their followers or X, Y, and Z. I see that and I'm like, damn, how could I? Why couldn't I sell before they sold? Like, why didn't I see that exit first? Like, I try to take it internally and be like, how can I do better to beat you to the punchline next?
Nice.
Still working on that. It's not going well. I'm more of the like, oh, you guys all sold? Fuck. I'll see you guys next time. Don't worry, you'll come back.
The wisdom that's pouring out right now is beyond me. My guy. Wow. I love it.
See, the trick is just if you hold through the top, it can't get any worse because you already missed the best spot, so it's just downhill. That was the worst point, and now it's only uphill, if that makes sense. It's perspective.
That's a fucking great way to put it.
Yeah, it can't get any worse.
I absolutely love that.
It's all about having fun, man.
That's what it really is, right? Everyone here is a person. I think that was like the point that like everyone needs to remember. Obviously you have these anonymous accounts, and you can get bold because you can say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, like you're saying, everyone has some sort of positivity or, good inside them somewhere. And that can get lost, I think, behind the anonymity.
And behind just the noise, man,
Yep. Yeah. It's an echo chamber, right?
It's understandable, but when a group of people go through and almost survive like so many different scenarios where people are losing money and things are going to zero, like it like to me makes sense that like a part of that like collective is like a little frustrated that it's happening. And so yeah, you just see the ecosystem and you see like you just see that it's part of the game,
Right.
Like you kind of have to like for lack of a better word, like the way the rappers say it, they just say it, charge it to the game, like they're like, you lose money, you get scammed, like in rapper world, like their homies die, you know what I mean? Like they literally just like charge it to the game on like keep going. And I think that's like what most people don't like actually like embody well, if that makes sense.
Yep. I mean, if we're all here, right? We've all been here for a while. Myself started in 2020, late 2016. But anyway, like that, if you haven't been through rug pull, I mean, I made it through that 2017 Mania. I made zero money, right? But like that prepared me for this next bull market and all these rugs that you go through. You have to come away that you're allowed to have frustration. That's just normal. But like you have to come away with a learning experience and take some, something for the future. Just to know like, okay, hey, if I get in that situation again, let's kind of remember where I was.
The mental state of that and kind of take the learnings with you.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's what most people miss out on is like bull markets, bear markets. Like you're not going to be good at it the first time.
Right.
I thought I was going to be, and I wasn't.
Same.
And like, you can like let that get you down, or you can just stay through it and like realize that the next bull run or the next opportunity that you're in, like like if you look back at the bull run with all these NFTs that we just experienced, to me it kind of feels like something that happened, but like almost like surreal to a degree. Like the amount of constant information that I was like constantly in, and the amount of like money and assets and things that were constantly flowing in and out of like my existence with like little resistance, or as little resistance as I could have at the time. Like it almost feels surreal. And if you like can stay in it and participate like through like the bull and like a bear period, like I'm like kind of starting to like see that like when you're in a bull after more experience, it becomes less surreal and more real. And then like I'll be able to like, at least like this is my intention and goal, like I'll be able to navigate how to actually like utilize assets well and move assets well in a period where everything is flowing with like crazy abundance. Because I think every single person, I don't know about y'all, but every single person like quote unquote missed an opportunity or didn't sell the top or didn't do this, right? And to me, that's not something like to beat yourself up over. It's just like based on a lack of experience. Because how could you like have experience in some of these like crazy financial realms that are literally brand new as of 10 years ago? And so, yeah, that's kind of an interesting thought, but yeah.
I think you're right. And I was thinking about this today when I was driving around, that everything's like, I think Celsius, we talked about this earlier, Ethersole, that they filed Chapter 11 and so much stuff's going under. It kind of feels like the dot-com bubble in 2000 where you just had companies like left and right that you never thought would go down, going down. And it kind of like gave me a good feeling of, this might be real. Like this truly could be the very early stages of something that's larger to come. And, we're witnessing the first kind of implosion of it that sets kind of new growth up, kind of like how a forest burns down to then grow a better forest later.
I think that's exactly what's happening. Like,
Yep.
I think every bull and bear is like continually bringing in new people and weeding out the ones that aren't wanting to actually participate in the ecosystem for like the long term. And I think there'll definitely come a point where it will become an actual necessity to have crypto, not a fun little play toy that you could buy some NFTs with like it is right now.
Right.
I actually think it will become a necessity where people will be like, I need to have Bitcoin. Like I need to have this asset because like part of the world or a large portion of, or even a small portion of the world no longer operates in the old financial system, and they need some even little bit of exposure to the new financial system. So that's why I have no question, like in my mind, like what, like Bitcoin 250K is like easy potential, Bitcoin 500,000, definitely potential. Because as the world starts to get to that place more and more and more, like it's going to be less of this kind of Renaissance era that we've experienced the last bull run, where it's like everyone's rich, but when everybody's rich, instead of like being like tailored or precise with the resources that you've acquired, like everybody goes and spends them on like JPEGs and all these other things, right? And I noticed it in myself. I'm fully guilty of it as well. But I guess what I'm getting at is like that's kind of like a Renaissance mentality, right? Like the only reason that happens is because other things are going well in society, or at least like sustained, because I can't really call the current model of society going well, right? But it's at least sustained to a degree to keep people's levels of comfort at a certain level where they're not like lashing out largely at each other or at the governmental or power structures that are currently in place. And so I think as those start to erode, and as the world starts to move more and more towards whatever new thing it's moving into, like people are going to be much more like focused, especially with billionaires and rich people are going to be much more focused on how to actually store their assets and actually how to have valuable assets, beyond just the traditional, like, I guess, sorry, I got a text. I got distracted. What I'm trying to say, like, they're gonna, like, people are gonna be much more focused on, like, how do they utilize their assets in order to create more assets, and not bullshit assets of like digital shit or like paper shit, but actual real world assets like land, food, uh, uh, guns, like things that you like you need to survive in the world. Like, they're going to be, I think, people are going to look at Bitcoin as one of those assets and less of the current way that people view crypto, which is more of like a renaissance model of, if you have enough extra money, you can maybe make a lot more extra money.
Right.
And I think that's definitely going to be shifting.
It's kind of like, I think Warren Buffett had a big stance on that, where he doesn't want crypto because it's not a productive asset. He wants like land. He wants businesses. He wants things that make other things, that make an income. So I think if we can find a way through some sort of financial system to make Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, whatever it may be, a productive asset, it'll just change the game entirely.
I think, we're all here because of that end game, right? But every cycle has given, new tools and utility that are important. I mean, I think one super underrated part of this cycle, I know Tether was around, but there's so much, the stablecoin game is like completely changed. And, if you look at it just from a point of access, where, someone in another country now can buy USD and hold their wealth in USD, because like if you go to another third world country, travel around, everyone wants the dollar. And so just access to that alone this cycle is an amazing tool. And I think that'll go to trillions and stuff. And then eventually, I agree, like, we see Bitcoin as this store of value that, eventually could replace the current financial system. But I think every cycle comes with these new tools that we then walk away from and like to the next cycle and don't even, and kind of gloss over it, if you will.
Oh, dude, absolutely. It kind of comes back to the notion of people are coming to stay. And over time, we're just going to build a better and better community from the both people side and tools side. But I think the tools kind of fall to the wayside because you don't think about them as much. You kind of put them in the back of your mind as just something you use, but you never like think about the impact they have. I do want to switch gears real quick. I've been thinking about this for like 40 minutes now.
Let's do it.
Like 8 months ago, I sent a random tweet. I don't even know what the tweet was about. It could have been about nothing. And suddenly I got a bunch of replies that just said OOGA. And I don't know what.
Let's go.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Because I was fully out of the fucking loop on all this. So I need the story here.
Oh man, OOGA, baby.
Where did this come from? And how did it invade literally all of the timeline?
The origination of OOGA, I forgot what his name is. I think it's Tom, actually. It might have been Tom, but it's a guy named Tom. I'm just gonna go with Tom. Commented on one of my tweets and just said OOGA OOGA. And I don't know what tweet it was or why he said it, but I DM'd him and I was like, I don't know what OOGA is, but can I run with it? And he's like, go for it. Run with it, dude. It's something I literally just came up with off the top of my head. It means nothing. And then the Bunny Tribe came out, and like it was around the same exact time, and so I would just tweet OOGA all the fucking time. And I think like it had two definitions. Like one, like the overall meaning is like OOGA's meant to be like for the good of all people. So it's like kind of like a positivity thing, right? Like I want like share a little bit of like good vibes. But second, it was really meant to be like a call for like the degens who are just minting an NFT. Like I think the first thing I tweeted was, anytime I say OOGA, it means I'm aping an NFT or something like that, And so I think at this point, nobody really knows what OOGA means. It's just kind of like a thing that people say, but that's kind of the origination of it. And it was kind of just birthed in the Solana community, like through Trippy Bunnies and really before Trippy Bunnies, but that was kind of the thing that solidified it.
That was probably one of the most fun parts of crypto Twitter to me, because I never knew it was going to come.
That was super fun, and all the DGen Dolphin action last month. I don't know if you saw that, Bender, but that was definitely the most fun I've ever had on Twitter, ever.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I was on vacation for like the better part of
you missed that.
May, June.
That was post Goblins.
Literally. Me and my buddies did a 24-hour mint, Bender. It was a free mint, low royalties, like 1.33%. We call them fantastic flippers, and they're dolphins that flip NFTs.
God, phenomenal idea.
Right. And me and my team and my buddies were just like high on a Friday, and we're just like, this is a great idea. And so we made it, launched it on Saturday. And in the first 4 hours of having the Twitter account, I think we had 12,000 followers. And then all of a sudden, like, people were starting, like, Shillin' Villain started a Twitter space that was just literally, there was 1,000 people in it when I joined and it was saying, like everyone was making an E noise.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, the fantastic flippers are dolphins that flip NFTs, but they also say E. Exactly. And so, yeah, we just like started bomb tweeting E everywhere, and had people starting spaces that were about E, and then we started a couple, and next thing you know, like, we sold like 3,000 DGen dolphins for free in like 3 seconds. And all of crypto Twitter for like a 24 to 48 hour period was like nonstop E-ing everywhere. Just like fun vibes, bro.
That is awesome. I don't know how I missed this. I would have loved to be a part of it.
You took a break. You stepped away. You missed it.
Yeah, damn. Fuck me for going on vacation, right?
You missed the best vacation of them all, man. The dolphins.
Yeah, apparently. I definitely don't. I don't miss the days where I would just wake up. This is like early Twitter when I think I had like 5,000 function. You had like 12 or 15. And I just wake up to like 100 DMs, and I'm like, what has happened here?
Oh, yeah.
And you'd have a tweet that was like, oh, 0x spender, he's giving away like free money, just DM him that like, I'll like touch your balls. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. And I shit you not, man, it would take me like 3 days to get through and like delete all that stuff, so I'm super lazy. And it would be like the day I deleted them all, here's another tweet. And I'm like, no, stop. And I realized it was me, because I would come to you and our DMs would be like, bro, I finally cleaned my DMs up. And you're probably sitting there like rubbing your hands together like, I'm going to get this motherfucker again, aren't I?
Oh, that's so hilarious.
Those are fun days, man. We'll get back to those.
I remember when, I think it was around the same time frame. I didn't have much more than 10,000 followers. But I think it was the toads. You DM me and you're like, get these toads, bro. And then literally like we minted toads and they went like 10x in like an hour or something like that. And I minted one of the rarest glitch toads or whatever. You remember that, Bender?
Oh, I remember it perfectly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
That was when I knew you were a real one.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. What was that?
Because it was a random thing. I put it on Twitter. I was like, something's not right with the toads. There's an air of like something about them that I don't quite understand. So I DM'd you. I was like, you got to buy these. Here's the link. Put it on Twitter, and they just exploded. And then you got that super rare one, and you sold it. And you're like, bro, I'll slide you an ETH just for like, it was like 25% of the sale. And because you're like, I wouldn't have done it without you. I was like, damn, like this guy is so nice. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of facts though, because like, I didn't hear shit about him, and like you were literally just like, yo, dude, mint these in my DMs. And like we had gone back and forth a bit. So like there was like some level of like a trust basis there. So I was like, fuck it, why not? And I
Right.
literally minted them, and it wasn't like I waited like a week or two and made like a couple grand. Like it was literally like 30 minutes later, my like one was like 13 ETH, and like I was just like, fuck it, like take it ETH, bro.
Absolutely.
Wasn't that like a free mint too before the whole free mint meta?
No, it's 0.069. It was like a huge meme.
That's right. I was so heated. I missed that. I was at a fucking baseball game. So yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Wrecked.
Yeah, that was one that I minted, and I had this habit of just minting stuff in mass and then leaving and like not looking at it for hours. And I don't know why I would do that, but I went to dinner and went out for the night, and I checked my phone like 6 hours later, and I was like, what the fuck happened? What happened here? I thought I was going to come back poor.
Nice.
That's hilarious. So I guess where would you say your focus is now? Are you strictly Solana? Are you still dabbling ETH? Are you dabbling in coins at all? Or just chilling?
Actually doing like a little bit of stuff on ETH. Most of my focus is with OOGA Dojo right now, which is me and three of my good friends are co-create that team. And essentially what it is it's got three different wings to it. One's the creative wing, and the creative wing essentially houses everything that we've already done so far. So Joe Schmo's NFT, which is our main NFT series where we're building DAO stuff, and DJ Dolphins and Fantastic Flippers, which are the NFT, obviously, which is the free mint. Tribute Bunnies may eventually fall under that category as well as we go into version 2 for that. And then we have a consulting wing, which just opened up, and we are pretty much just like starting to offer advisory / consulting services to people. Got a couple really cool clients right now that I'm stoked to like jam with, but mostly just helping companies behind the scenes like navigate and understand the realm of like Web3 that they've entered into. Because like a lot of these founders are really passionate and like inspired by a lot of stuff, but don't necessarily have a grasp on like how to communicate with their community, or how to even build a community, or really just even how to navigate being in a realm with so many different opinions and perceptions being thrown at you all the time. And so we help like with that stuff. We help with DAOs. We help with a lot of different things in the consulting wing. And then the final wing is like the community wing, which is still kind of like developing and flourishing, but just like want to give cool tools to the community that will just benefit them naturally. Like we opened up a job listings channel in the Joe Schmo's Discord in the free section of it yesterday, tweeted about it. And in 24, 48 hours or however long it's been, there's like 20 jobs posted in there, and multiple people from the community now are getting paid, and companies have social media managers or Discord mods, etc. So in the community wing, just like figuring out or just adding value in like cool, unique ways to the group of people that we're all building with here, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all my
Awesome.
most of my attention and energy focuses on that, which thankfully doesn't take up too much time and energy or attention. So besides that, it's just kind of spending time taking care of myself and spending time with friends and being patient in the bear market. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's time to recharge, build in the background, and then come ready for the bull market, because I mean, it's coming eventually.
100%.
2024 October. That's my guess. See you boys there.
Oh
my guess is tomorrow.
That's an optimistic guess, and I'm here for it.
I'll take it.
Would absolutely worship it. I love that OOGA has stuck around to where it's now like built into your entire life.
Right?
Shout out OOGA Dojo, huh?
It's on my car too.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I got my Tesla back when all the apes were pumping and shit. I got my Bored Ape on it, and OOGA.
Oh, that's right. You did put OOGA on there too. I remember the Bored
Was
Ape.
it a wrap? A full wrap?
I got a full wrap, and then they put like smaller stickers on top of the wrap. That are specific car stickers or whatever.
Yeah. How do you like the wrap? I've always heard that wrapping a car makes it hard to take care of and wash it. But I've never talked to somebody that actually had it done.
I love the way it looks. It gets dirty as fuck because it's matte black.
Right. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and so the matte is definitely more challenging to keep clean. But I don't really give a shit, to be honest.
I was thinking about that same thing today, man. I saw a Tesla drive past me today, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to Function later today. I said, this man sold ETH, bought a Tesla when gas was cheap. Now gas is expensive. And I was just like, God damn, like,
winning, bro.
it really pissed me off, actually. Because I had just bought gas, and it was like $80 to fill my tank, and I was just sitting here like, bro, how did I miss this too?
That's hilarious. Function about the bottom of Teslas. Who would have known?
Yeah, well done.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, this has been hella fun, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. It's been great. You know, we haven't chatted much in the past 2 months, but thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it, dude. We love the insight, the wisdom. I mean, shit, it's like I gotta fucking dry off my earphones because I feel like they're just dripping in wisdom right now.
It's because it's so hot outside.
I don't know.
Just sweat.
Oh, yeah, shit,
Yeah, I don't know what that is. You should get that checked out, bro.
I'll probably do that right after this too.
All right, y'all. This is super fucking fun.
Thanks, bro. We'll have to have you on again. Appreciate the time.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Later.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
All right, peace.